Okay, so guys, I want to talk about negative thinking. I used to be very new age kind of person. I'm no longer new age. Like new age, there's a lot, in the new age world, there's a lot that goes on there. But I'm not going to talk about that. So because of that exposure, I began to develop the belief that you can be anything you want to become. But nowadays I say you can be anything you want to become with God, right? That's where I am right now. But more importantly, one of the things that can help you in life is killing the negative mentality. I have always had, again, because of my exposure to the personal development space, I've always been like, life happens, but life is not permanent, and nothing in life is permanent, and life is seasonal. And I talked about that in a previous segment, that sometimes life is up and down. We're in seasons of highs and lows, troughs and peaks and things like that. So one of my pet peeves has always been people who complain a lot. I'm not saying that I don't complain. I do have my moments when I complain, but I'm the kind of person that if I'm complaining to you about something, right then I'll always be the same person who stops myself. And I'm like, I don't want to complain. Why? Because I think that the more yes, life is hard, but if we don't get out of our negative mindsets, what happens is we then cannot progress as fast as we need to progress. We cannot achieve the things that we need to achieve. And for me, I'm very for progress. I'm very anti not progress. Like, I want people to progress in life. I want to progress in life. I don't believe in whining too much. One of the things that my daughter the other day was telling me was like, I like telling her to stop whining. And I laughed because I didn't realize how much I tell her. Like, I'm always like, stop whining, stop whining, stop whining. And so the funny thing is, one day she was with her friends. And I told you I homeschool. So, and her friends were there. They were having a conversation at some point. And I think they were complaining about something. And I just had her saying, stop whining. And I was like, that is me. That is not her. That is me. I'm the one who has made it look like whining is such a terrible thing. But I think it is, yeah. So, but I do understand why sometimes we get into loops of negative thinking. We get into looping. Sometimes life can be really, really tough. I mean, I've been in situations whereby I have not known how I'm going to eat tomorrow. I have not known how I'm going to pay school fees for my daughter. I have not known how I'm going to pay the rent. It's been tough, right? There've been really, really, really tough seasons. Living from hand to mouth, literally, paycheck to paycheck. So it's very easy to be in a tough season. But what now I'm saying is there's that season that now drives you into constantly just being negative. Like, you've been through such a hard time that you're constantly negative. So this podcast today, this episode rather, is about how you can rise above that, because I think it's important. And what I found is, for example, sometimes when things happen, like for me, I've gone through experiences that sometimes I look back and I'm like, I don't even know how I'm still here. I don't know how I'm still alive. I don't know how I'm still pushing through. I'm still plodding through. I have no clue, right? And there were times there when I would obsess over the issues or the things that were bothering me. What I would be over catastrophizing, no catastrophe. So I would be over catastrophizing. Like, something happens and it's such a big deal. Like, I will hype the problem even more. I will probably blow it out, the thing out of proportion. It's like, give an example. Let's say at work. I even in my business, I do hire people to help me with work that we do for our clients, and I always say that just because, I mean, sometimes I found the people who are working for me coming to me, they've done a mistake and they come to me and they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, relax. Like, it's never that serious. Like, you've made a fine. You know, I'm the kind of person I just don't like. I mean, I've been in a season where I just don't like making things bigger than they are, because I always say life is already hard all on its own without your help. So me adding salt to a wound or salt to injury doesn't help. So it's almost like, you know, sometimes I see people who work for other people and they're employed somewhere and they're stressed out at work. They're stressed out because they made a mistake and they're afraid. It's, you know, you make a small mistake and your boss is like, I'm ready to fire you. And sometimes I'm like, why, if it's not changing the economy in a drastic way, in a negative way, people will make mistakes, right? You will make mistakes. So whatever mistake you make, you don't have to blow it out of proportion. So I think that's one way that you can stop a negative trajectory in your thinking, by simply just saying, this thing has happened. Fine, it has happened. I am not going to blow it out of proportion. I'm not going to turn a mountain out of a molehill, or a molehill out of a mountain. I'm not going to make it bigger. You guys know what I'm trying to say. So that's the first thing, number one, right? Don't over catastrophize events and things that happen in your life. They're already bad without your help, right? You don't have to add fuel. Something else is overgeneralization. This is a pet peeve of mine. Like, and this is a common one. So let me give you an example. I used to do it a lot back in the day. I don't do it anymore. These days I get irritated when people do this or say this. They say that men are dogs, women are the opposite of a dog. I won't say it because it's just not a nice word. Or people are like this and like that. We put labels on people. Or you know, like, because let's say, for example, let me look at it from, let's say, a tribal perspective, because sometimes as human beings, especially where I have grown up, you find, because you come from different communities, we tend to have stereotypes about certain communities. So we say, this community is like this community is like that, these people are like this, these people are like that. And what happens is we create a narrative, a general narrative about people that is incorrect. So just because, for example, in my community, in the western part of this country, you know, you find that there are night runners, people who like running naked at night when they've painted themselves in white. Okay, I'm exaggerating. I've never really met a night runner, but there are rumors, right? And we hear that there's certain communities where they're night runners, right? But just because I come from that community doesn't mean I will wake up at night and start running. You get my point? So we have this thing of, you meet somebody, like, let me even talk about it in a dating perspective. And I have been a culprit. I'll be like, want to introduce you to this guy, and I'm like, and they tell me, I'm like, no, I don't want to. Those people, I know them. These people are like this. These people like money. They, you know, and you miss out on opportunities of meeting really amazing people. Now, something else tied to that is, you could have known me in a different lifetime. You could have met me when I was young and unbridled, and I was just living my life the way I want to live it, and I was a bit on the cray-cray side of things. And you meet me years later and you assume that I'm still the same person, and you generalize and you say, that chick, this is how she is. But we are not. We are human beings who are always evolving and changing. At least I think for a majority of people who are self-aware. So number two, stop overgeneralizing issues. Not all, you know, we always say, there's that hashtag, not all ... not all men, not all women. I think it arises because of the generalizations that we make of people. And when you stop generalizing things, you stop being negative. Because overgeneralization is a negativity thinking thing, so please stop doing that. And then also stop over personalizing things. Like, we sometimes, I'll give you an example. Again, I'm going to use my daughter. There are days when I'll be correcting her about something, and I realize that I've probably done it to her. So because we are all mirrors of each other. So in terms of in life, we mirror the people around us who are around us the most. So there's this time I think I was correcting about something. I can't remember exactly. But she's done it a couple of times. So that's why I remember the personalization bit. So I'll correct her and I'll be like, don't do this. If you do this, it's unkind, right? Or it's not nice. So she'll be like, so you're saying I'm unkind? Or you're saying I'm not nice? And I'm like, no, I'm not saying you're not nice and you're not unkind and you're not kind. I'm just saying when you do this, it makes you look unkind. Like, when you do this, it is unkind. Not makes you look, but it's unkind. So I've really had it's been a challenge with her sometimes, where I always have to tell her, okay, just because I said this doesn't mean this. Like, if I say, for example, if someone does something wrong and I say, I don't like what you did, then I come and, or I do something wrong. Let me say, I do something wrong to somebody, and then they come and tell me that I did something wrong and they felt bad or they felt like I was evil. I can't turn around and start saying, you're saying I'm evil. You're saying I'm evil, because what I'm doing there is, I'm, one, being negative. Two, I'm not listening. Three, I'm personalizing an issue that should not be personalized. Like, someone has just told me that they feel like what I've done makes me look evil, but now I'm internalizing it and I'm taking it personal, and I'm saying, you are calling me evil? So I always say a lot of the wars in this world is because of lack of communication. And because people are constantly in a negative mindset space. Like, you're always thinking that something someone is saying is negative. I don't know if you've ever met people who are like that. Like, you say something and before you know it, it's like the conversation has gone to a negative trajectory. So one of the ways is to stop being negative, to stop negative thinking, is to stop over personalizing issues. And the last one, guys, the fourth one is our mental filters. Again, because of the way sometimes the experiences that we've gone through in life, we develop what is like a pessimism about life. Like, it's like we are not able to stay in the positive space long enough. So let's say something good happens in your life and you're like, yeah, this happened. Then you're like, hey, let me not even do this or let me not tell someone, because if I tell someone this happened, this negative thing is going to happen, kind of thing. Like, we don't know how to stay in a positive celebratory space long enough. Once something good happens, it's very easy to slide back into negativity. So one of the things that we need to do is to change our filters to really, or rather just remove our filters. Like, we need to stop thinking that there's always something at the back. Like, there's always, like, if, for example, there's this thing that people say, when someone is too nice, to you, there's always something they want. But guys, that is a mental bias or a filter that you have based on your own pessimistic background, and it's really influencing your interaction that you're having with this person. So I'm saying this because I've struggled with trust. I've struggled with trusting human beings, because obviously, and I think many people have gone through that space where you just doubt everything you're being told. Like, you're hearing a story and someone is giving you good vibes, but you're like, and I've really struggled, like, in the past, understandably. But we cannot stay there. Like, you can't stay in a permanently pessimistic space, or a space where you're always thinking there has to be something behind this conversation. Like, you can even be having a conversation with somebody, but you're looking at them and you're thinking, what is this person really trying to get out of me? Why are they being so nice? I mean, I've met people who have been genuinely really good people, but I confess sometimes I'm like, can this person really be nice? But guys, there are people who are nice. Like, even I sometimes, I'm not the nicest person in the world, but there are days when I'm really loving towards people, but someone would be like, why are you, like, I'll get someone a gift and they'll be like, why are you getting me a gift? Like, what do you want? Kind of thing. So I think these 4 things, over-personalization, having mental filters based on our pessimistic backgrounds, if we can get rid of that, if we can if you can see the good in things and not always be thinking there's something at the back of everything, something negative coming up. That's it. And then there's also, like I said, overgeneralization, putting people in a box and assuming that everyone, because they're from this community, or because they're a woman or they're a man, all men do this, all women do this. Stop generalizing. People are different. People are individuals. Yes, there are collective things that link us to our, like, there as women, there are things as women that we are aligned to, but it doesn't mean that all of us are the same. And stop catastrophizing, making everything a big deal. So yeah, guys, these are the 4 things, and I hope that was helpful. I think it has been helpful to me, so hopefully it will be helpful to you as well. Yeah, like and subscribe. Bye.